Hey, what's up? It's Taylor, and welcome back. I'm back in the SS again. Finally, we got some nice weather. You can probably hear it a little bit right now, but I'm just taking a quick trip around the neighborhood so you can hear it. But I've got another suspension problem. Yay! Ooh, nice M3. Anyway, you'll hear it in a second here. Let me close that. You hear it? It's squeaking? Yeah, that's my latest problem. That kind of surfaced near the end of the year last year. It was a little quieter than it is now. And over winter, I thought that it was something with the exhaust system. Because quite frankly, my exhaust system's been nothing but problematic. Yeah, squeaky, squeaky. So, anyway, I thought it was the exhaust. Over the winter, I got underneath the car, adjusted the exhaust the best I could, thought, maybe something was, like a bolt or something, or a screw or something was like scraping against part of something underneath the car. Well, that's not the case, and I have since basically determined that it is some piece of the front passenger side suspension. Now, why do I think that? Well, mainly because you jump up and down on the side of the car with the door open when it's parked, the sound goes crazy. The other reason is because there was a day about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that I was driving, and the squeak was there, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. And I was behind a car in traffic, but he was a ways ahead of me. Nothing came off that car, nothing was kicked up by that car, but at one point it sounded like I ran over something that fell off of a car, like a screwdriver or something. And I looked underneath, looked in the side mirror, looked in the back mirror, didn't see anything out from underneath my car, nothing came flying, so I didn't know what it was. But at that moment, the squeaking started getting louder, and it is as loud as it is now. So what I think happened is, and I'm not even sure how it happened, I think the rubber piece that's on the top of the spring, when it's seated in there, I think that somehow must have jostled itself loose and now fallen out of the car entirely. Which again, that's all under pressure, so I don't know how that could have happened, but I'm going to pull the car into the garage right now and put it up and take the wheel off, and we're going to see if that is the problem. I also have a secondary nagging issue with my suspension that I'll get into once we check out what's wrong with the front one. So let's pull the car into the garage here and get the wheel off and see if the problem I think is the problem it is. Because if it's not that, then I'm not sure what it is. So let's get into the car and check it out. Alright, so now we got the car up in the air, and as you can see, we've got the whole strut and spring assembly here looking right at us. So we're going to jack up the brake and see if I can hear that sound. There. That's it. Alright, just figured out what it was. I'm pretty sure I figured out what it was. And as I mentioned, something had fallen out of the car. Well, I think I now know what fell out of the car, and it was a bolt. A bolt I've never touched, and I had the alignment done last summer at a Chevy dealer, and now I'm wondering if that's something they did. So if you want to see what I'm talking about as far as the bolt missing, when I listen to the squeak, I'm looking up here, it's supposed to be a bolt in there, and there isn't. So this whole thing moves around and is rubbing up against stuff. And to confirm there's supposed to be a bolt there besides the clearly worn away spot from missing like seat for the bolt. Head to the other side. And you can see there's a bolt up there. There's the bolt. That isn't evident on the other side. So, it looks like, because it's Sunday, I can't do anything about this at the moment. I'm going to have to be contacting the Chevy dealership that I had do my alignment, because they must have touched that when they were doing the alignment and not put it back tight enough, and that's where the squeak came from. So, that's fun. That's going to be a nice, interesting thing, which now makes me question their workmanship on something else I need to have done, which is the rear strut. So, as I said, I have a secondary problem. Well, my secondary problem is my rear strut is problematic, the driver's side rear, since I lowered the car. I've had problems with the light turning on and off, not the light, but the little warning. Here, actually, I'll show you. There's the little warning that tells you to service suspension soon if there's something wrong. And hopefully it'll do it. Well, maybe it won't. It might not do it with the car off, but oh, no remote detected. Yeah, it's not going to do it. I'll do it in a second here after I put the wheel back on the car. But anyway, I get an error light, and I have to get my new strut installed, which, let me grab that real quick. Alright, so here's the new mag ride strut. So basically, the rear struts in this car, all four of them are magnetic ride control, but the rear one specifically, you have to de-pin the connector that connects the wiring to the car for magnetic ride control, and that's a pain in the ass if you don't have the right tool. I did not have the right tool, so I dicked around with it for a couple of hours when I originally lowered the car, and basically it's been problematic ever since, so I had to get a new strut. Well, last year, the Chevy dealer, I was going to have them do it, but they wanted to charge me like triple what these struts can be bought for, and I figured, nah, I'm just going to buy it online and have it shipped to you. Well, it was on like terminal back order, so I canceled it, put my car back together, and brought it home last fall. Well, then I ordered it over the winter just with regular ground shipping, and it showed up like earlier last week, and here's what I'm talking about. This here is the connector. Well, inside of here, these are the two pins that you have to make sure are de-pinned and re-pinned correctly with the magnetic ride control. So, I was going to have them do it, but now knowing that they didn't put a bolt back in my car, I'm not so sure I want them doing that. So, gonna have to make a call tomorrow, but for now I guess the car is out of commission and not gonna drive it like that because I didn't know that was the problem. I honestly thought it was something wrong with my strut or spring or something, like I said, the rubber boot falling off, which didn't make sense to me, but it's the only thing I could think of as to why. But now it's turning out that it's metal on metal rubbing and it's from that bolt falling out. So that will be fun. That'll be a nice phone call I get to make tomorrow while I'm at work. But anyway, that's me for now. I will check back in with you guys after I find out what the fix is going to be for this, and if there's any long-term problems with this, but this really pisses me off. So for you guys, I hope you guys have an enjoyable rest of your weekend. This is going to be, I don't know, it's just upsetting. So I got to talk to them. But anyway, that's me, that's Taylor, it's the Hulk SS for now. Finally nice weather, and I can't drive it because it's literally missing pieces that fell off on the highway. So we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day. Alright, so as I said, car's back down and lowered again, but this is the message I'm talking about with the startup screen when I start the car. So you get your Chevy bow tie, all your little lights. So rain sense is on, nobody's in the back seat, the hood's open, and that's the one, service suspension system. Because of that little light, I need to replace the rear strut. So again, basically I'm going to have to call the Chevy dealer. I am almost positive they're the reason that this happened, but if by some stroke of chance that they're not the reason it happened, I don't know. But I can't see any other place having done that. Like I said, I've never touched that bolt. The shop that did all the supercharger work had no reason to even be down there messing with that bolt, so I can't see any other way that would have happened other than the alignment, and it happened to be a problem after I had the alignment done last year. Like I said, it wasn't that loud at first, but it got much louder. I heard something fall out of the car. Had to be that bolt. So hopefully this isn't a a bigger issue than it is. Hopefully it's just a matter of putting the bolt back in or getting a new bolt and making some kind of an adjustment, and hopefully it sticks and stays in and we're fine. But it sounds like it wasn't torqued down well enough. But hey, she's happy, so as long as she's happy, I'm happy. But anyway, that's that. I'm going to have to figure that out tomorrow. But basically the way I figured it out was my wife was sitting here with the jack. She kept going up and down with the brake caliper, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me where the sound was coming from. And then I was looking under the hood, put my fingers between the black piece that you saw from the bottom and then the green part of the frame, it's a unibody car, but through there, and I could feel it getting tighter as the car went up and down. So, the suspension. So I figured out that that's what it was, and then I started looking and realizing there's something missing here. Saw it on the other side, bolt's missing. Got to make a call. So that's that. You guys take care. I'll get this figured out, hopefully, and get the car back on the road. See you later.